So, yeah, Star Trek's pretty good. Let's see, what episodes are today? Bride of Chaotica, which I mistyped multiple times as Bridge of Chaotica, but it's not Bridge. Bride of Chaotica, I believe, is Arachnia, Queen of the Spider People, and she's pretty cool. It's one of the weirder episodes of Voyager, but it's also really good. So, I'm down. Let's see, Gravity, which is Tuvok gets a girlfriend and the doctors used it as a battery. And Bliss, where, yeah, it's just Seven and Naomi, they just hang out for a while. They're besties, they're friends. And that's really all I got to say about that until we get to the episode. But yeah, pretty good episodes. Gravity, I remember as being okay. Bride of Chaotica and Bliss are great. Gravity, it's okay. It's fine. Speaking of, it's okay, I started watching Stargate SG-1 recently. I'm not... There's 10 seasons, and I'm only, like, halfway through season 1, so I don't think it's gotten good yet. But, I mean, so far, it's decent. It's alright. It's very early TNG in that, overall, it's decent so far. But there's also a couple really great moments in it. And there's also a couple episodes that are just total garbage. And that's fun. But I'm hopeful, and I expect, from everything I've read, that it sort of comes into its own. And it gets pretty good. Looking forward to that. Doesn't get good until season 3? Okay. Well, hopefully I get to season 3 soon. God, it's just... Okay. From what I read, in a season or two, maybe season 3, they stopped doing the whole, what? Carter's a woman who has a job? That's crazy. Hopefully they stop doing that thing at some point, because that's come up multiple times so far in season 1, where people are like, oh, how can she be here? She's a girl. And that's... they're trying. Yeah, it was very obvious that it was Code of Honor Part 2. I was already aware that the same writer wrote both episodes, Code of Honor and Emancipation, I think the Stargate one is called. And I was debating, should I skip it? Or I decided not to. I did end up watching it. It was Code of Honor Part 2. I don't know what else to say about it. I'll probably skip it if I ever rewatch the series. Also, on rewatches, I would skip... God, what was the name? I already forgot the name. I literally watched it last night. The one with the goddess of love who, like, mind controls people? That one was bad. Look, I just wanted somebody to shoot her. That's all I wanted. Gyrinx, it makes sense in context. I just wanted somebody to shoot her. Nobody would shoot her. Anyway, how's the weather? Hathor, yeah, that was bad. Okay, look, there's gonna be a couple spoilers for Stargate SG-1 Season 1 here for, like, a minute. The episode Hathor, all the women are going... all the men are under her thrall, and the women are like, alright, no, we're not gonna negotiate, we're just gonna go up to her and shoot her in the face. Great. Good plan. I'm 100% into that. That's a good plan. So, they all get themselves free, they arm themselves, they find her alone, and they just sort of look at her while people slowly come out from the side doorways and circle around her so they can't kill her. So they all get taken prisoner and lose their weapons. They have to break out again, rearm themselves, and then they find her completely alone. There's one guy half dead on the ground, but she's just kind of standing there slowly walking around the room while they stare at her from the doorway while she walks around a bit, picks up the person, puts him in a tub, slowly walks away out the door, and none of them shoot her. And the whole scene, I was just screaming, shoot her in the face, come on! Your whole job is to shoot her.
You have one job.
They ended up shooting... they missed when they tried at the very end of the episode. That episode sucked. There are some really good parts. I just watched a trial episode about Teal'c trial. That was really good. Hathor was not good. It was trash. Anyway, 10 Seconds to Bride of Chaotica. That's really good. It's a good episode. You should press play on it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Some good. What is this? 60s?
Probably earlier in the 60s.
Yeah, because this. I mean, TOS was more advanced than this.
Yeah,
Unless it was just an outlier. I don't know. I
uh,
wasn't there in the 60s.
like the black and white serial sci-fi was more like 40s, 30s, right?
50s. Jeez. You okay?
Hmm? Oh, still got a cough. Try and mute it.
Well, I was more concerned about whether you're dying.
No, I'm not dying.
Okay, cool. Imagizing. Yes. Good. I like the way he rolls his R's. That's good. Proton. He reminds me of the elves in Oblivion. They're. Oh my god, he talks like an Oblivion character. They're all so into it, every line. She's annoying though. I hate her. She's the worst.
I love the fact that the holodeck is black and white. I mean, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but is
They
of course
they
great.
acknowledged it before. They were like, "Oh, doctor, adjust the doctor's spectral image."
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, no, that's not how light works.
Yeah, exactly.
But oh well.
As with all things holodeck, though, I do not care.
I like his duck hunt laser pistol. That's good. Sorry, this is the 40s. His ray gun.
Right. Definitely not the duck hunt razor pistol. Laser pistol.
See, Tom would be the worst person to play this with. He already knows the whole story and he's spoiling it. What's the point, Tom? Oh god, that transition. I didn't realize they changed the transitions. Okay, this is the writers mocking themselves. Good.
Excellent. Well done.
Because yes, we have seen this set many times. Fortunately, they know where the underground caverns are because they've been there multiple times. All good. Oh, it's blue.
Uh-oh.
Would this program be more aesthetically pleasing if it were blue? So yeah, Stargate SG-1 gets good around season 3. That's good to know. I just have to
Yes.
make my way through. Do they stop doing the Carter's a woman? Do they stop doing that?
I think so. Actually, even season 1 after the clip show is good. Also,
What? There's a clip show?
there's a clip show. Yeah,
Oh god.
but fortunately, and like actually, the unfortunate thing is that the final arc starts at the end of the clip show. But from
Okay.
there, from the last arc is good.
So there's 3 terrible episodes in season 1, is what I'm hearing.
At least.
There's the racist one. There's the one where they don't just shoot her in the face. And there's the clip show. Cool.
It's a clip show when there's only been even one season. That's the kind of painful thing. Like at least in Next Generation, they had 2 seasons to work with.
Do they do this? You know what? I'm not even going to ask. I was going to say, oh, TNG did that thing where they had some sort of like plot wrapped around it. It was like, oh, it was Riker remembering his horrible memories and going through
Yeah,
the show.
there. Yeah, there was a plot. It wasn't that contrived, but it's still a clip show. Like you can't make it good.
There's one clip show per season? Seriously? Okay. Could they not have a clip show every season? That'd be great.
Yeah.
What's Voyager doing? Oh. Okay, they were pulled out of warp. They're not just
Nothing.
hanging out. Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's like, why are they just chilling here?
Damn governmental forces. They're the worst.
Oh, thanks, Kathy. He wasn't doing that already.
See, how long is it going to take them to realize the safety systems are offline?
I give it. I don't think it's going to happen in this scene.
Yeah.
I think the next time it cuts away from the holodeck onto the bridge and then back to the holodeck, that will be when we learn.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, the funny thing about holodeck episodes is, of course, safety systems don't work for shit.
Yep. Oh, and
But
to be
again,
more
doesn't matter.
specific, bridge, then holodeck, then at the very end of the holodeck scene, it'll be a dramatic
Yeah,
reveal,
probably.
safety's off,
Yeah.
fade to black, cut to commercial. But even Prodigy recently did all the safety systems are offline. I haven't figured it out in. Oh, no, they're out of the holodeck and they didn't die. Wow. Nobody got shot. Oh, yeah, back to Stargate. I started watching the show before I realized there was a movie. I thought it was just doing that thing where it sort of like plops you in the middle of the story and you figure it out as you go from the world building. No, apparently there was a prequel.
Yeah, it was a whole movie.
But it's not on Prime Video, so I haven't seen it.
Also got different actors for most of them, and
Oh,
one of the
that'll be
characters is pretty
weird.
different.
Okay.
Although the guy does look like a lot like James Spader.
I think it is James Spader. I think I looked it up.
In the movie, it is.
Okay.
It's very different looking James Spader. It's just not like, Alan Shore with Blacklist James Spader. It's nerdy James Spader.
Honestly, the only James Spader I know is The Office James Spader.
Oh, right.
The Lizard King, I believe he's called. It was really weird.
That was weird. Seeing
Wasn't
him in the
into
office.
it. That's the only thing I seen him in. It was just.
You should see
Dude
Boston
was
Legal.
just weird.
Boston Legal is great
Okay.
because it also has, more memorably, William Shatner as Denny Crane.
Now, why are these guys mobsters? Why are they dressed like they're from the 40s?
Yeah. Mm. Roton.
Who talks like that, Chaotica?
Awesome.
I like his Lego hands.
Awesome. Yeah.
Can they, like, clamp down at all, or are they just, like, half cylinders and he just pokes people?
Yeah. To know. It is very Dalek.
Do the do the photonic life forms know this is a starship? Because I have to assume they'd be very confused about this conversation
Oh
and
yeah.
why there's like a whole planet here. Why is there a cliff inside this starship?
Yeah.
Space Force? That sounds like a dumb
Yeah.
name for a space thing.
Oh God.
Who would call something a Space Force?
Mm.
The Death Ray.
They are. The hands are great.
Don't scream. Please don't scream. 3, 2, 1. Why she gotta
Wow.
do that?
Well called. Mm.
But if he's just getting it from the replicator, why doesn't she just get it from the replicator?
True.
Is she making him use one of his rations instead of hers?
Oh yeah, probably. Uh-oh.
Four functioning lavatories. That sounds like it'd go good in a 12 Days of Christmas episode. Oh yeah, I forgot about that fun fact about how Booleans, for some reason, have massive bowel movements. That's canon. A bathroom schedule? No. Though, that might be the only mention of actual bathrooms in Star Trek. This is the
That
only
might be.
indication that they exist. I mean, like, we see Troy's bathroom a couple times, but the only thing in it is a sink and a mirror.
Does seem under-equipped.
We see a shower a couple times, but I found a screenshot of Janeway's bathroom. There's no toilet there. She does have a bowl of eggs. Not joking, she legit has a bowl of eggs.
Like, like eggs that look like came out of a carton, or some other kind of eggs.
I put a picture into the Discord general chat. She just has eggs. I don't know.
Well, yeah, nope, carton eggs. Yeah, weird. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Chaotica's castle of gas. Yes, they do, Tuvok. Oh no, not Screamy Goodheart. Thank God. 1930s. Okay, we have an era. This is the 30s. Oh, poor he was just doing his
Aw.
job. Poor guy. He's a very Fallouty robot.
Mm.
Do you have a replacement? I feel like he needs that. I'm looking at his hands closer. It looks like he might have a pivot. Like on the top side there's a joint, but it doesn't look like there's a joint on the bottom.
Of course, he's got to hold the arms out to move his legs.
Yep.
Obviously.
Yes, okay, fifth dimension, we get it. Thank you, robot.
Like he calls it a
Run,
rocket
robot.
ship.
How's the robot gonna get in the rocket ship, though? It has a ladder. It's probably gonna get in by a camera cut. I was gonna say this would be a really good TV because of how big it is, like your own private cinema, but no, it's not. It's cutting
Oh yeah.
off the edges of the frame. Yes, thank you, Seven. She's saying what we're
Mental
all
mush.
thinking.
Yes. Fun will now cease.
How does a telegram work wirelessly?
Stop, of course. Solid pun.
Yeah, people didn't have locks in the 30s. What are you talking about?
Hey guys.
So, do you know why they're dressed as 30s mobsters?
It's a shout out to the Chicago Moms of the 20s episode. Just one piece of the action. It's a pretty interesting episode because they don't know how to handle non-photonic. But I was watching a future episode where they revisit the Bride of Chaotica thing, and the Dr. Evil here is like, well, Chakotay says the bad guys are from the 8th dimension. He's like, we know there's only 5 dimensions.
No, the robot.
No. No. You bastards.
Tom, you don't look nearly distressed enough for this situation. They hurt Satan's robot. Oh god, get ready for the deadpan. Thank you, Tom. His army of evil. If only you had a photonic-based life form who could talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alas, just them biochemicals. Jesus, 7, thank you.
So, yet again, the holodeck is like a really dangerous technology. There's no reason to like allow it on the ship because they don't have any control over like turning it off.
Why is there an option to
something's
turn
wrong.
off the safeties?
Yeah.
Why is that a toggle?
And
It's all
then
perfectly
there's,
sensible, except that it goes wrong all the time.
then there's always the potential for the simulation to overtake the rest of the ship. And that
Yep,
keeps
that's happened
not
several
supposed to
times.
happen.
So why do we
is
have
there
this
any
thing?
ship subsystem that doesn't at some point let someone take over the whole ship?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it doesn't create additional life forms that let it take over the whole ship. So it's like an.
I mean, yeah, but there are computer programs that take over the whole ship.
I can only imagine how many takes this took.
Yeah.
Wait, who plays Tom? Oh yeah, I have to imagine Robert here had a really hard time getting these lines out deadpan.
In a future episode when Balana's pregnant, they're having a big argument, and he's like, "Come on, let's change the scenery. Let's go to the holodeck." and she's like, "That's your solution for everything." But yeah, Tom's just a big kid.
No, not gonna Gilligan cut this. He's enjoying this.
I'm glad to see, even in 30s sci-fi, Earth was a united front. Can he be black and white in the real world?
Yeah.
I assume so. Is he, though? Are we sure he's clever?
He rolls his R's, talks British. He's very sophisticated. He has to be clever.
I've never watched sci-fi from the 30s, but I assume this is exactly what it's like.
I mean, yeah, probably isn't exaggerating much.
Earthlings? Oh, in Star Trek TOS, humans were Earthers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that got retconned real quick.
Yeah. Have they actually? They haven't actually established where the safety systems are off, have they? This far into the episode, it's really unusual.
Get it? Black and white? You get it?
Mm-mm.
Why does he have it? Surely he knows since chapter 16 that it's like a mind control thing. Just destroy it.
Yeah.
But he's very clever.
Of course. Sire.
Oh, Chaotica's hat here, it's very similar to the Goa'uld hats, actually. Except this one has lightning bolts on it.
It's true.
Still, I mean, I'm still in season 1, but I don't know if the costumes changed, but I can't really take them seriously. I can't take the
I don't
snake
remember.
people
It's been a while.
seriously.
Surrendering.
Arachnia. God, I hope this is what a Mars colony looks like. We need a drawbridge. Just make a castle. Oh, he rolled it. Good, you did it that time. Oh, Jesus. I want to know why she's queen of the spider people. Does she have Spider-Man powers? Are her people literal spiders? What's the
That's a
deal with
good question.
Arachnia? Do they just all like to wear silk?
I think
Fiendish.
she's already enjoying this way more than she
Yeah.
said she was going to.
I was close. I was going to say fiendish cleverishness, but it was clever
Yeah.
fiendishness. Cradle? Don't you mean the cradle?
Credo.
Are, eh, mm. If they're fighting photonic life forms, I wonder if the holodeck weapons are just infinitely powerful. They're just as powerful as you say they are. Or is there a real limit here?
Throne.
Oh, destroy it! Cast it into the fire! It's actually kind of a bad throne. It's way too wide. It doesn't have a cushion. They just put a pillow on the wooden seat. There's no upholstery.
I was just watching the end of Better Call Saul. So now, of course, I'm convinced that the black and white means this is Omaha.
Hey, what? Omaha's in black and
Black
white?
and white. That's yes.
Is that like how Mexico is yellow?
Exactly. Yes.
What are you looking at? Hey, what are you doing?
Very well.
Yes, his clever fiendishness is on full display.
Such towering intellect.
Title drop.
Title drop.
There's so many of them. Yes.
Nice.
Also, I like his badge that just says the president of Earth in a big circle. So, okay. I would assume what they're supposed to do here is the doctor explains that the biochemical life forms are actually real. And you can trust him because he's photonic life form like you. Right? Nope, President of Earth.
the Doctor does relish in melodrama when he gets the chance.
He's a doctor, not a performer. Wow, that's a big compliment. Competent.
You know, there was a spiritual writer. His name is Gurdjieff. He writes a lot about mysticism, or you could view it as complete nonsense.
I'm excited to see how this ties into the photonic 30s death ray story.
Yes, yes. So he tells a story of how, there's a guy on the train, and he's sitting across from another guy on a train, and the guy has a box next to him, and he's like, I've been sitting across from you the whole train ride. What is in the box? And the guy's like, well, it's a mongoose. And he was like, oh, wow. What are you carrying a mongoose for? He's like, well, my brother, he's afraid of cobras. So I'm bringing a mongoose so he doesn't get scared of the cobras. And he's like, oh, that's interesting. So he goes on and he says, well, my brother, actually, the cobras aren't real. So I'm just bringing the mongoose to like calm his nerves. And he's like, well, how's the mongoose going to help you if the cobras aren't real? And he's like, well, the mongoose isn't real either. So I think it's kind of interesting how they play these aliens,
So
because
saying Captain Proton is a mongoose in this context.
well, the Doctor in this case, right? Because in other words, they're giving a fake story to real photonic beings. I don't want to call them fake
Transition.
holograms. That's an amazing cut.
That kind of actually hurt to look at.
That's
the
that's
camera
like
should not do rapid movements at 23.97 FPS.
Yeah,
that's like Windows Movie Maker right there.
preoccupation.
Preoccupation.
I worked as a cashier once, and I love talking to customers. And one lady, she told me that she loved black and white movies is because in order to express glamour, you can't just show up in a red dress. You have to actually act extremely glamorous. So both of these
Is that what's Kate is doing? Are you sure? This doesn't... I don't know if this feels glamorous. This just feels weird.
Because in silent movies, they didn't even have their voice to work with either.
Yeah, the expressions of like Charlie Chaplin were really important.
Yeah.
But so the thing is, though, a lot of those silent movies, though, they had an accompanying piano soundtrack. So there'd be a guy on like a little piano, like a saloon piano, and he would be able to play the instrumental accompaniment to the silent movie.
Can I shoot him?
Flash Gordon is like what I think of when I see like Captain Proton.
It's probably the direct inspiration, yeah.
Okay, so the safeties are on. The safeties are on. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, the holodeck is working.
For once.
In the entire... How many shows do we have? Like 8 shows? It's the one time the safeties are on?
Yeah. How many other times? Like in the 5th episode of Data, are the safeties on?
No, they're not. That's why Worf has to make his little deflector shields.
Right, okay.
And get help from Counselor Durango.
Don't be.
Like Captain Proton and those sci-fi comics. I'm sorry, did I say I meant Flash Gordon and those sci-fi comics? They were like the first encounter with like ray guns, like that kind of
Oh, nice.
When that entered the popular jargon.
What does that mean?
I was
What do you
gonna
mean?
say that's not as dramatic an act out as they think it is. Oh darn! Deeper into subspace?
I
Question
think
mark.
like the photonic beings live in subspace.
I
So,
mean, it's bad clearly, but it's just not. Doesn't have
yeah,
the weight that they said it does.
the ship goes into subspace all the time. It has no problem getting in and out of subspace. Yeah.
They don't really use it much, but occasionally they mention that subspace has like infinite layers where different species live. It's
Subspace is even worse
They,
defined than the Prime Directive. So
there are definitely species that live in subspace for
like
sure.
that species that kidnaps people in the middle of the night and experiments on them. They live in a subspace layer.
Yeah.
And apparently so do these photonic life forms. They live in a subspace layer. So I assume a subspace layer is just an alternate universe.
Yeah.
something
Like the
like that.
Kelvin verse is a layer of subspace.
Okay.
They never explain. And I don't know that they could
The
explain.
subspace is, yeah.
Like, I was watching some Borg episode, and no, it was actually Seven. She was explaining that like transwarp puts a lot of temporal stress on a ship, like extreme temporal stress. And to me, that kind of made sense. But then I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, warp itself is like bending space and time. So it makes no sense how like transwarp is extreme temporal stress.
I mean, just like normal warp, but more stressful, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
extreme. Like the
Doesn't
Lorentz transformation end of it. Yeah.
extreme. Woo!
Yeah.
I can't help but notice Kathy here's walking right under the force field generator again that she was trapped in last time.
Yeah, true.
She should probably stand somewhere else.
I think the funny part of this simulation though is that okay, so this is comedy, right? Because the villain is so stupid.
What? It's a serious drama. He's
And,
he's the
and then
intergalactic evil.
yes, he's so stupid though because like he's so dumb for Arachnia. Like in a later episode when he reoccurs, that's when Chakotay is being a time traveler. He falls again so hard for Arachnia, and like the last scene with him, he's kissing her hand all over, and like even Kate Mulgrew, is like completely done with her role. This guy too, he's done with his role.
Right. I mean, it's about women folk and their wiles and
Yeah.
how powerful men are so weak to them.
Yeah.
Their
Common theme
pheromones.
of this era of fiction.
Yeah, and he wants his match, right? Because he's obviously like the super genius. So like to have a beautiful, dashing woman as his bride.
So I have a question. How come when Janeway was calling Tom, she said Arachnia to Proton?
Yeah.
Why was she
Not
still in
different affairs.
character?
She was she got into it. That's all. It's just exactly.
She loves
She's
her
the queen.
outfit. Like
No, she's loving this whole thing from start to finish. Obviously.
yeah. I mean, like it's so boring wearing playing a starship captain. You wear the same red uniform, like again and again and again and again. And
Shoot him again.
Mm-mm. Last of Chaotica.
And no, we haven't seen the last of Chaotica. Fun fact.
Of course not, because nobody came up with them with copyright lawyers. They actually got to repeat this holodeck plot. Unlike
Such a shame we
DS9.
didn't get James Bond Part 2.
Yeah.
I mean, we got like 2 minutes of James Bond Part 2.
Of course. That was
So-
pretty great.
So yeah, that was an episode for sure.
For sure. All right, sorry, I gotta go. I couldn't miss part of Chaotica, but now I can't
Okay.
go elsewhere. So,
All right.
see you
Thanks
guys.
for thanks for carrying the show. Have a good day.
Yeah, see ya.
Farewell. So the next episode is I mean, compared to Bride of Chaotica, it doesn't hold up at all. Bride of Chaotica is way better. But the next one's Gravity. It's okay. It's fine. It's just Tom and Tuvok get trapped on a planet. There's a lady there. She gets a crush on Tuvok and then they leave. And that's it. And she's
Wow.
not Jayla. She's discount Jayla. Jayla, of course, was the
Bad guy.
I don't remember what her species was. She was the lady from
Beyond.
Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah.
With the white and the black stripes.
She was the MMA fighter.
But yeah, this lady is not Jayla. Jayla was better. But that's okay. She's trying to be.
Calvin.
Press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I'm still thinking Chaotica. Oh yeah, and Baby Tuvok. I forgot about Baby Tuvok. Where we learn
They show the Vulcans as so logical, but the children are like the most horrible little terrors.
that's probably because of all the emotional abuse
Yeah.
throughout their whole lives that they eventually just learn to cope with.
Yeah.
And then
E-
go on to inflict on others.
Even the Ponfar, like a later Voyage episode, says that like it only intensifies, like their libido only intensifies, unlike humans. So that means that like in other words, when they show them like feverish and shaking, and having the sweats, they're really not. I don't think they're exaggerating too much. Like their brain is about to boil from being in physical heat.
This guy sounds extremely familiar.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, he's been a bunch of stuff actually. He was from TOS, the Gamesters of Triskelion, where they fight and gamble on who will win. He was a Klingon in the House of Grilka from the episode The House of Quark.
That's amazing. He was in TOS.
He was a Cardassian informant in DS9. He was one of the Sona in Insurrection. And he was a Suliban. He's been in everywhere.
Yeah, he spans every Star Trek.
I think specifically, though, I'm remembering his voice as the Klingon. Why did they send teenage Tuvok into a cave with a strange old man to talk about emotions?
I think like the Kolinar is a mental discipline that like every Vulcan wants to achieve.
Isn't that the ritual where they purge all
Yeah.
emotion? Like, what do they
Yeah.
do? Is that a lobotomy? Or
Yeah.
is it just symbolic? The word purge is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
By the way, so I saw this YouTube video about this Japanese codfish that was over 200 years old, like verified, handed down from generations. And I was just thinking, like, this is like T'Pol's age or like Tuvok's age over here, because it's an amazing thing to be able to live through like 2 centuries, and most of them fruitful, But it also reminds me of I was just learning how lobsters they shed and that's to grow a new soft shell. But when they grow too old, they're no longer able to shed, but they still grow. So they they crush themselves inside their hard shell, which is no longer able to molt. And theoretically, they'd live forever if you could just like let them outgrow their new shell. Well, I don't know about forever, but like they don't die because like of old age. They die because they simply can't grow a new shell. But like they live
Hey,
past
same.
100. You're the same. You said
Yep.
you can't. You die because you can't grow new skin.
Exactly. I'm actually, I don't die of age. I don't age.
Okay.
Fun fact.
Um, I managed not to age also, but like I remember like anger causes wrinkles, so I never like allow too much anger or like stress to express itself on my face. Um, so I keep this like because I remember like from watching Star Trek, William Shatner, in the middle of his eyebrows, he has this like slit, I think, developed basically. That's like it's a fold, it's a furrow from the ridges um of his wrinkles. This is a great costume, by the way. I mean, it's too much leather for that heat.
It looks sweaty.
Yeah, I feel like a reptile, like except one that sweats, like you said.
So yeah, this is someone who's not Jayla, but you know, proto Jayla.
Wait, sorry, I wanted to say, you were talking about the person who was acting in TOS that we just saw on screen.
Yep.
You see Les Lando like direct a lot of Voyager episodes. I just saw that like he directed a TNG episode from like season 1. And so, I mean, I think it's like because when Rick Berman, you know, like who was also with TNG from episode 1 as a producer, as executive producer, like when he started new Star Trek projects, he took a lot of like staff, you know, Michael Okuda, the makeup guy, Scott Westmore, the but it's kind of amazing, you know, to have like that much continuity because like for example famously in Star Wars in the original like 1979 stuff when they had the animatronics and then it came around time for the prequels, they had no more living people to like do the animatronics. They did not successfully pass down the knowledge from the guy who did the original animatronics for Yoda at Dagobah, and therefore you had a very subpar Yoda actually for the first episode at least of the prequel trilogy.
It looked like Yoda to me.
No, but you know how Yoda moves? Like it's so realistic in Dagobah. Like you feel like the little critter is alive.
Tom,
You know
shoot
when.
her. She's threatening you with a cylinder.
But either way, like movie, you know what I'm saying is the movies, all this stuff is about craft and stagecraft. So if you're not able to hand down a lot of these techniques or
Yeah, screw it, make new techniques. Just
yeah,
CGI Yoda works great.
does it?
So, speaking of the Universal Translator being offline, going back to Stargate SG-1 for a second, it's really bothered me that everybody all speaks English, even like weird alien creatures we've never met before. They don't have a Universal Translator. Just everyone speaks English.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. It's not that big of an issue, but it does come up.
I want to say I do like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I do like Discovery because it shows that you know, like it shows us the languages a little bit better, like different people speaking different languages.
When it breaks down and
Yeah.
Michael starts speaking Klingon.
I think the newer movies do a better job of that too.
What newer movies?
Well, I mean, yeah, Kelvin, I guess.
It's like it's been a decade.
Yeah, it's been there's no newer movies.
Tuvok, this is a Prime Directive violation. This is an internal conflict to whatever weird planet this is. You can't just go beat up aliens. Unless he just wants the medkit back, in which case fair play.
This looks like the planet that Picard and Wesley were trapped on and they couldn't find water.
I'm pretty sure it is.
And then it also looks like the one where Bajor,
I feel like we may have seen this before.
Kira and Dukat are like running across the sands.
Trying to find his daughter to murder.
It sucks shooting outside because like making the shadows match up is like really hard. You got to get your lines out fast.
Yeah, these days, we just have one giant screen that just looks like it's outside.
Yeah, it's much easier.
Leave her face alone, Tuvok. Why are you grabbing at her face? Leave her alone.
Like directors always will like try to change the colors, if they have time, to make it match the right time of day. But you can't fix the shadows. The shadows are like kind of a giveaway also, and much harder to hide. Oh, another thing about the 30s though, right? So, New York was the original like film capital. Like we're talking about 30s. Paramount Studios was in New York. The only old studio that's like still around. Everyone moved to LA for obvious reasons. But the only one that stayed around was Silver Cup Studios, which still exists today. But again, filming outside sucks. It is much, and also like when your seasons change, like okay, well, it was cloudy one day and it was snowing the other day, so it's like, why would we? How can it's very difficult to film an entire movie. So if you go to LA, it's always sunny, and if not, we'll just do it at the same time tomorrow. It's much easier.
It's super easy. They put out like a video every week or 2 weeks. They don't have a lot of time to wait around for the weather.
Yeah, no.
They film these real quick. Get
Yeah,
the season done and send everyone home.
They're professionals. And actually, I was just reflecting that even the audio, like they'll have the actors come in and do the audio, like 2 or 3, 4 more takes for whatever they want to set the tone as. So like even as an actor, you're really not like expressing yourself here. No one cares about you getting into the role. It's just you need to, get the camera on the content.
Oh, this rock formation! I recognize these rocks. This is when Voyager was stranded on that planet, or the
With the
crew was in
bones.
Basics.
Yeah.
This is
And
where they met the primitive people
yeah, it is.
in the outskirts of LA.
Like with the bones, with the giant bones to like do a dance around. Because that's what primitive people do. They dance
Raider.
with like their giant femurs of their prey.
I don't recognize that type of freighter. It's similar to Cardassian, but it's not Cardassian.
It looks like the hollow ship from Insurrection, even.
A little bit. It's like got a shuttlecraft sticking out the front of it as a cockpit.
It's kind of cool. They built a new set or something like it.
Did they? I don't think they did. They made a new matte painting. I don't think this is a new set. We learned last episode sets are expensive.
Very.
What if you combined the two ships into one mega ship? Scavenge the parts.
I like how they tried to make it look like it's sunlight coming through the top because it's really like brightly lit in the front and then shadowy on the sides.
Just calm down, Discount Jayla. It's chill. How do you speak this language? This makes no sense.
You know, her leather outfit is more like pleather, which is even worse in the heat because it sticks to you.
Oh, there's a breeze inside if you look at her clothes.
Oh, what inside?
There's a breeze. Her, like, glove was fluttering in the wind.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how there's a breeze in here. I guess fans on the set?
Yeah.
Keep the lady cooled down in her tight leather outfit,
Yeah, maybe they need to like at least keep her from
passing out.
passing out until the shot's finished and she could pass out. I just I just saw this when in the same episode of Chakotay's traveling through time, they put Seven in her Borg outfit again. And I'm like, that is like it's even more uncomfortable than when we originally saw her. They managed to like make it even tighter and more restricting. This CGI is pretty well done. Like when they were stabbing the spiders.
I like how it's CGI when it's moving because they have to animate it, and then they switch to a rubber prop on a stick when they actually catch it.
Yeah, they managed to do a decent job of
Oh, there it is. Little rubber
using
prop.
using the toy.
Doesn't look like a very good tool, though.
It doesn't look like a very like meaty dinner.
But I bet it's delicious.
Do you eat lobster, Ryan?
I have not.
Oh, you never ate lobster?
The creature has an exoskeleton.
Okay, but you can crack the exoskeleton and suck out the meat. You're saying it's a giant cockroach and you don't want to eat it?
I have never even seen a lobster in person.
Okay.
I don't know where I would go to get a lobster, which, I mean, I probably could. I mean, I live on the ocean. I
Mm-hmm.
assume there's lobsters around.
Mm-hmm. I used to like expensive like $50 dinners. Although nowadays this stuff would be like $100. But like a steak for $50 or a lobster for $50. It's like the most expensive thing you can usually eat at a restaurant. I don't do that anymore because I can make a better steak at home. I've never cooked a lobster at home. But a lobster's a delicacy. You break off the claws and you dip it in butter and you enjoy the
But
tender.
it has an exoskeleton. That's so much work.
Yeah. I love that they teach her English like she's a savage. Oh, she's translating.
Yeah, presumably she's. Oh, jeez, not more spiders. Presumably, I mean, she knows as much as they do because she was a traveler on a spaceship on some
Yeah.
kind of freighter. She knows about space. She just doesn't speak English. It's fine. She speaks a lot more English than I do her language.
Yeah.
But she has a crush on Tuvok. He doesn't even tell her that he's married. Well, yeah, because he saved her from the Raider people. Remind her that you're married. Hopefully this conversation never gets back to Balana.
Yeah, I mean,
Your wife's so far away, it's okay to cheat on her. She won't know. Who's gonna tell her? It's messed up, Tom.
I guess he's trying to tell him, like, I think, like, they later find out, his son says, like, I'm not going to go to the Vulcan Science Academy. I'm going to become a musician or something. And
Gross.
yeah, but like, if you're gone that far away, your family might move on from like your expectations and you coming back.
But they're Vulcans. They don't really do that.
I mean,
'Cause they have-
like, he's as good as dead, really, like, practically speaking.
But I'm doubtful that she would remarry. Because
Yeah.
Vulcans do the whole arranged from childhood thing.
True.
And their emotional suppression makes me think they wouldn't really bother
Yeah, they're not gonna
if
have
one of
like,
them
a
dies.
not gonna have a toxic divorce. But why is like Tom so invested in shipping Tuvok?
Doesn't have anything else to do.
Yeah, and like, he's really invested.
He's trapped on some desert planet with bloody Tuvok. He has to do something to entertain himself.
They don't want to learn how to like make fire or like, you know, make a transistor.
Wait, Talana, is Talana a person or a place? What's Talana? Is that Tuvok's wife? Wow, it's the old man again. What did Tuvok even do to be forced into this cave?
His father already explained it. He doesn't want to explain it.
But
to
I
anyone.
wish to hear it from him. Oh, he had a crush on a girl. Okay. That's why they sent him to live in a cave with an old man who tells him that his emotions are stupid. Does she even know you exist, Tuvok? Hang on. What kind of crush is this?
Now, one crush, you have to go to a retreat with like someone who's like such a stiff. Like, one of the reasons, okay, so in the 19th century, there was like a fake science but like health movement where instead of, because most poor people, they eat porridge for breakfast, but porridge is hot, so you want to eat cold things. So this Dr. Graham invented graham crackers, and he also like Dr. Kellogg had cold cereal to eat. And so the idea was, if you just like ate more cold food, you'd be less given to like.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how that works. That sounds
um,
right. Also, old man speech here reminds me of Master Yoda with his fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate. It is a path to the dark side, Tuvok. You must never feel affection for another creature. Only cold detachment.
No wonder Vulcans are like so messed up.
It's some kind of wormhole. I think I found the source.
By the way, it's kind of messed up that the adult was like, "What if I had a letter that the girl you liked, like one of your classmates?" It's like, why are you toying with his teenage heart? Just like
She
tell him he's
doesn't
not.
even know him.
Yeah, just tell him he doesn't have
He's
a.
just looking at one of his classmates from across the room going, "Oh, I think we could have a good life together. She's really pretty. She doesn't even know you."
Yeah. But why do you have to like toy with the kid? Like just tell him, control your emotions and stop having crushes.
Just stop feeling stuff. It's that easy.
Yeah. Yeah, stop having like emotional attachments, even though it's like your biology.
Let go of those you fear to lose. Frankly, I'm surprised more Vulcans don't go and like turn into serial killers with all this emotional abuse.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally conditioned to be sociopaths.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is why we don't let Harry in charge. You just got saved.
It's a cool alien backdrop. Put a lot of work into it.
Wow. But if you already know it's here, can you not just go around? Because 2 million kilometers is a safe distance. That's not very much in space. Just go around. He's totally reasonable. This guy makes total sense. Like, look, this thing keeps eating people. We're gonna shut it down, but I mean, you do you, I guess.
Yeah, she's just asking for like another day or two. Because it's an artificial boundary, like she wants to get her people out.
What else is there to read about? It's a desert planet with bugs. Oh, it's a temporal distortion anomaly. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We don't need Tuvok and Tom.
Well, I mean, they can come back like 90 years old.
Just
Although
let him die. It's no big deal.
Tuvok's already 90 years old, but
Frickin' Vulcans. Are we gonna turn on the doctor? Yes, we are. Okay, good. No. Your boyfriend is dead. Can we get a solar panel or something? Charge the doctor? Yeah, they got ditched. It's unfortunate, but this is just your life now. You live here.
It's always
I-
the biggest plot device ever, just to have like, okay, well, your planet is spinning in a different time zone than we are, and hours for us is like weeks for you.
So that's
I'm,
one thing, but I'm also thinking, where did they get the candles?
yeah, it's true.
Nope, not. You can't just leave him alone. He doesn't like you. No, Tuvok likes another one of your classmates, not you.
Yeah, Tuvok has serious issues. This episode's kind of well written, because it's like he was chastised for falling in love with a girl from another planet, and
It's
here,
definitely a character piece. It's just a bit of a slow character piece. Not much has really happened yet.
although if she fell for Tom, I'm sure she would have had better results.
But Tom has a girlfriend. Oh, but she's light years away. She'll never know. It doesn't count. Remember, the lesson of this episode is cheating doesn't count if it's long distance. You can't just call someone a chevakat.
If he doesn't like you, he doesn't like you. What, you don't have to like guilt trip him into like liking you.
Fun fact, insulting people when they reject you is a fantastic way to get them to change their mind and actually love you.
Yeah, and it usually means everything else you were trying up until then didn't work. So just give it up instead of getting
No,
mad.
no, no. If someone tells you no, just tell them they're stupid and they'll change their mind immediately.
And
I
you
mean, that was
hate their
Noss's strategy.
and you hate their ethical philosophy.
Yes. What you doing, Tuvok? Are there like hostile raiders who try to shoot you on sight?
I don't think they have enough water for him to just be like basking in the sun like that.
No, no, no. Vulcans can go several days without water. Because he lived on a desert planet.
Fetter is a good word. It means chains. Like, what do you want, Paris?
What does he
Like,
want Tuvok to do?
she kissed him, and so what? You want him to like kiss her on the cheek and be like, "No, you're not my baby. I got my baby back home on Vulcan. She's waiting for me."
Some very familiar rocks as well, Tom. We've seen these rocks before.
Paris is like, This episode is ridiculous. Paris is not acting like himself at all.
Wow, what a confession. He experienced attraction toward a woman in his youth. The horror. A Torelli? Oh, not even a Vulcan. Wow. Vulcan, the planet Vulcan has always struck me as a bit of an ethno state. Like it's only Vulcans on Vulcan.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's not true.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe they did allow like.
I don't know what a Torellian is, though. I don't think we ever see a Torellian.
No, we don't.
Wait, apparently there are two species of Torellians. One is TAR, one is TER. There are two Torellians.
Okay.
No, wait, Wait, hang on. There's actually four species of Torellians that all have very slightly different spellings. One has TYR, one has two Rs.
So I was thinking because humans are just Terrans. She's like a Terrellian. It's an easy name to make up.
Terrallian could be a name for a
Yeah.
human.
Yeah.
That ship's kind of weird. It's like a Klingon ship's head with a Romulan ship's body.
And then wrapped in like a silicone thing, like a dumbbell, like those, like a
Or like
dumbbell.
if they loaded up the model in Blender and hit subdivide.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, adjust for the temporal distortion. Yep, because it's all slowed down. Speed it up. Thank you, Doctor. Speed it up more. Come on.
Elephants communicate through an extremely low frequency vibration that can be heard from miles away.
0.4744 seconds per minute. Okay.
I like how Tuvok's calculator is the tricorder. So I assume these are all the people who are like lost, like the 11 ships we've lost in 2 years due to this phenomenon.
Yeah, they've just
So
been
what
stuck here forever.
they should they should be a little bit more interested in rescuing those people instead of just like telling Voyager to
No, most Star Trek species are very big on any man who falls behind is left behind.
Mhm.
They're already dead.
I mean, when you think about it, that's actually a smarter strategy in a way, because like space is so vast and hostile that like instead of okay, let's investigate the nebula where our people disappeared, the better strategy is let's just not go into that nebula again.
Just go around. It's not that hard.
Yeah. I don't think that's a good idea, Tuvok, for you to.
Do we
Do
have
you?
a gun? Yeah, just shoot him. What's the big deal? They just have knives. You had guns the whole time and you were worried about two raiders with knives?
No, there's like 11 or 12 surrounding the hole.
If they've got knives, who cares? They have guns.
Okay, so he does care about her.
He doesn't have a gun. Just thank you. Use gun on man. It solves every problem.
But I guess Paris did like good therapy with Tuvok. It's like, you don't have to reject. You don't have to like close yourself off romantically um
Yes, you do.
to everyone.
Oh, just a friend, Tuvok? Just a friend.
Oh wow, so I guess we keep her around?
No. No, we don't.
We definitely don't.
Prepare for the reset button. None of this ever happened.
In a way, Paris did like a good job being a therapist.
Did he?
He told Tuvok it's okay if you like someone. Yeah, so she's been out of sync for like 100 years at least, right? Everyone she knows is dead.
Don't have to insult him, Tom. Yes, thank you, Tuvok. I've seen too many Vulcans. I know how they think. There's no need to insult him. She's never going to be mentioned again. So this
She's
is, I believe, the second alien that's fallen in love with Tuvok. At least the second. There was also the weird Nebula lady who took over the holodeck. Also, how did Tuvok keep his... Wait, on the planet, was Tuvok's hair growing, or was it always this close crop?
no, they showed both Tom. Tom got a haircut too. So like because I noticed the first thing about Tom was that his hair was like really trim compared to the planet. So they both had their hair cut after they came on the ship and like, you know, settled in.
Or maybe the... I guess the freighter that was crashed probably had some shavers.
That's crazy. So he couldn't love her. So he just gave her all his memories.
Not all of them, just the ones about the emotional abuse growing up.
I mean, it looks as far as I know, when you do a mind meld, you just do everything. Once you
Though if
do
he
the
was
mind,
going to do that, he could have done that sooner.
yeah, he really should have. Like, and also that would have helped in learning the language, like by miles.
Like, it's Tuvok. He loves mind melding. It's not like it was a taboo for him. Mind melds with everybody.
In a way, it's way more romantic though. It's kind of a so weird. It's like my Vulcan romance comedy.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll back real quick just to see if their hair grew at all. Nope, it is exactly the same as on the ship. No trace of a beard anywhere. It is just, yeah, they're fine.
Paris cut his hair, but not Tuvok. Yeah.
Paris' hair looks totally normal in the planet. It's just
No,
it hasn't been combed, but it's the same length.
No, when they're walking through the corridor, his hair is like distinctly like so short. Yeah, a little bit after this when they're walking through again. See, like if you just notice the length here, it's kind of long.
But it's long on the top, but it's short on the sides. Like it's been styled.
True.
The point is, I don't think this is very believable. Their hair should be longer. Tuvok's hair didn't move an inch. It must be all the follicle suppression he's trained himself on.
She wears an almost Muslim kind of hijab, like the head covering.
Look, if someone's wearing a hijab, you don't go up to them and like pull it down off their face, Tuvok.
That's true.
It's very rude.
But it's almost like the Dune Desert Fremen kind of thing also. Like they were obviously...
Also, the next episode is Bliss, which is a really good episode. It's a lot better than Gravity. Gravity's fine. It's okay. It was a decent episode. But Bliss is really good. But, yeah, I don't really know what to say about that episode. The whole episode was Vulcan has emotional suppression. Girl likes Vulcan. Vulcan says no. They go home. That's pretty much the whole episode. I don't really know what to say about it. It doesn't really stick in my mind.
Yeah, I really couldn't piece the plot together until like...
What you should piece together is how you'll be pressing play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play on Bliss, which is a really good episode. Bliss is great.
It's like, I can't love you, but let me give you the most intimate part of me, short of physical sex. Can't love you though. This is a terrible episode, but I gotta say this.
No, it's not.
This is an awful episode. I'm sorry. I gotta say,
I love this episode. From hell's heart, I stab at thee.
The world's worst thought out episode. But what I'm saying is though, this character, his mission, the special effects, his ambition is enough to make it a good episode, a great episode.
So that's not J.G. Hertzler. That's not Martok. Who it is if you remember TNG, I think it was season 1, maybe 2, that guy who possessed Data's body, transferred his consciousness into Data's brain.
Dr. Mannheim.
No, Dr. Ira Graves.
Okay, yeah.
That's Dr. Ira Graves. Yep, to know him is to love him, is to know him.
The neuroscientist. Okay.
Yeah. Right. And the guy who was really mean to Dr. Solar, and like the only time we ever see Dr. Solar.
Yeah. But you're right, the Captain Ahab motif, I kind of missed on that.
Yeah.
But he's definitely... But like, so it's just like Captain Ahab in the Whale, because he's like, I know every aspect of that whale's personality intimately. And it's like, are you sure? Like, it's an inanimate whale. And he was like, no, I know what it's thinking, and she's very duplicitous. And she's not.
He piled upon the telepathic picture plant's green hump all the rage and hate felt by himself.
He said, demon from hell, I stabbeth thee.
I think he refers to himself, or maybe Seven refers to him as a dragon slayer.
But
a very unsuccessful dragon slayer.
Yeah, the funny thing is though, you'd think like some kind of that kind of quixotic Don Quixote character is like a fool. But he's like right like 90% of the time.
I mean, sure, but he also never slays the dragon. The episode ends where he's like, I'll find it again and I'll slay it next time on Star Trek Voyager.
He's more about living the life. Okay, it's a lifestyle, Ryan. It's not about.
He wouldn't know what to
Actually-
do with the pitcher plant if he
No,
caught
he
it.
really would.
He's like a dragon slayer tracing pitcher plants. He wouldn't know what to do if he found one.
It's like Ahab purposely letting the whale
Special
go.
guest star W. Morgan Shepherd. Yep. It's some kind of
Oh.
wormhole.
By the way, this episode's really creepy because it's like they. I don't want to say they're idiots because that's like a really harsh word, but like
No, they're
you have
idiots.
a-
100%.
yeah, you have a wormhole that I don't want to say literally, but literally appears in front of you and it takes you to sector 001. What are the odds of that, scientist Janeway? Tell me turn off the captain part of you. Just tell me as a scientist and a
Naomi
scholar.
Wildman, subunit events and Samantha Wildman. Wait, why is she
There's-
here?
There's no way it would take you to right to your home sector. Short of like a divine intervention in the form of Q or something. But again, you should have all your antenna up at the mention of like that divine Joker.
Can't she take the helm? Oh, it's probably on autopilot and she's being handed an unplugged controller. You haven't told her how, Tom. Wait, how does she know how to press the buttons? How does she know what buttons to press? You just showed her one.
It's as intuitive as an iPad, Ryan.
Is there a button that says Voyager on it?
It's like when you click home in Google Maps. You know, everyone who was upset over Icheb being harvested for parts in Star Trek Picard, that was a plot line in Star Trek Voyager. So if you think that was gruesome, I think there are plenty of people interested in hunting Borg for parts.
Except for that one time when they explode a man's head, Star Trek always implies really horrific things, but rarely shows them.
Mm-hmm.
Because
True.
they want to keep their rating, I guess. But then,
Yeah.
as soon as we start seeing the really horrific things we always hear about, suddenly that's off limits.
Yeah, and then also, by the way, like things like drug-controlled soldiers of the Dominion and
And of Earth after the Third World War.
yeah, and
Controlled
also
their soldiers with drugs.
like Orion slave girls is like sexual slavery, so like that's okay in the galaxy because like we can paint a woman in green.
But you see, it's actually the men who are enslaved.
Okay, I missed that.
Which I think might have been a retcon. I don't remember. It was a TOS thing. But then, okay. So the Orions, it was the women who were actually in charge. But then that episode where they introduced
Archer.
Dwight from The Office. What's his name? Harry Mudd. Harry Mudd.
Okay.
They're actually there selling women to minors. And it's like, what do you mean the Federation is selling women to people? What's happening here?
Yeah, true.
And Kirk shows up and is like, yep, I don't see nothing wrong with this. It's all legit. He's got a license to sell women. What's the problem?
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure the big moral dilemma of the episode is the women were actually sold as defective merchandise because they were lying about their appearance. I'm pretty sure that was how the episode went. It was kind of... Look, it was the 60s.
Even episode 3 of TNG, the Code of Honor one. So it's like the Federation really needs the vaccine from this planet, and like no one even asked about like human rights and women's rights and
but they weren't humans in Code of Honor. They just looked like humans.
And then the other thing is also being the 80s, you know, the idea, like, I mean, everything was about demographics, right? So you wanted, let's say black viewers. So to have like a black planet do its own like exotic things, it's all part. Like I mean, nowadays, like we expect a planet like Vulcan to have mixed races, and we're okay with that. But back then, it was a little bit more like everybody on this planet is blonde, everybody on this planet is black.
Oh yeah, going back to Stargate for a second. Of course, we all know the same writer who wrote Racist Code of Honor wrote Racist Emancipation in Stargate. But they were racist against a different group of people. In Stargate, they were racist against Mongolians. Therefore, it's
Mhm.
different. I was surprised by that. I was expecting them to be racist against the same group twice. Yeah, once we start watching TOS, I feel like I'm going to have to preface every stream with, look, there's going to be some sexism in these episodes. Just so you know. There's a lot of sexism in TOS. They mostly get away from racism, at least. Mostly.
Yeah. Um, Seven is looking through the captain's logs here, and there's a few times where when Seven and Neelix are sent with Harry on a away team, it's said that Harry outranks them because they don't have a rank. So how does somebody without a rank go through the captain's logs?
I don't know. Because Starfleet has no security procedures.
Hmm. So yeah, I guess everyone's overlooking the stupidity, the incredible unlikeliness of this good luck that they're having.
Okay, now we know it's fake because Starfleet is giving, well, I was going to say because Starfleet's giving him some kind of promotion making ambassador, but I guess they haven't actually met him in person, so they don't know he's evil yet. If they had met Neelix, they would never. Oh, I see a bowl of bananas. Trying to see what's in that sandwich. He has some kind of nutritional sandwich. And nobody feels anything is off about this. Everyone's totally fine with the. All right. So I think right now is maybe the reason why Starfleet ships have such lax security and people can just take over the ship. Because now, nobody told the doctor. All right. So everybody on the ship is crazy except Seven and the doctor. So the fact that Starfleet ships are really easy to commandeer will be very beneficial to them because Seven can just take the ship and leave. Just run the ship from sickbay. I'm just waiting to get back to Dr. Ira Graves. He's one of the best parts of the episode. My god. It's the Middle East. I mean, I can appreciate that when we see a view of Earth, it isn't necessarily just North America. They just pick some random point on Earth. It's like, yep, that's Earth. Looks good. Wait, what? Janeway just ordered that they lay in a descent trajectory to Starfleet headquarters. So she's planning to land Voyager in San Francisco. Can they do that? I didn't think Starfleet ships... I mean, I know Voyager can land. But, like, just is there a landing pad at the Academy for an interp... Where's she gonna go? Unless she's planning to land on the roof. Or just in a park.
I think like they announced the victory parade. Well, no, actually, this is another episode where the fake Barkley, the imposter Barkley sent by the Ferengi,
Yeah.
he tells them, "Yeah, we're gonna have a victory parade, and like everybody wants to meet you,
Oh,
Seven."
there he is.
This guy's a Klingon. He's not a Klingon, right?
No, he's just...
He's just angry all the time. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's on a path to the dark side.
No, he's just he just he
You
he
okay?
has that
Take a deep breath.
snarl, the growl of like of the Klingon. You know, like you said, Martok. When we
Yeah, that's just how he sounds. That's just the actor.
Yeah, he's great.
Super creepy in that TNG episode. But he did a good job being super creepy. Granted, he wasn't actually in that episode very long. It was mostly Brent Spiner. But for the few minutes he was.
Everyone's gaslighting Seven in this episode.
Yeah.
She's like, in fact, so the last episode was about how Mr. Vulcan is always like super logical, but here he's clearly not able to overcome his desire to see his wife and children, because his emotions deceive Seven telling the truth. So I think like between this episode and the last, it unravels the entire myth about Vulcans actually purging their emotions. Like and every time somebody gets to know a Vulcan intimately, whether it's Kirk and Spock, or in the last case it was Paris and Tuvok, it turns out Vulcans are just emotional beings, like highly emotional beings.
Is it Naomi? I think it's Naomi. Naomi Wildman, of course. Subunit of Ensign Samantha Wildman. Is she in a box? Or is she behind the box? Oh, there she is.
And she has
is that Flotter? Is it Flotter?
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
That Neelix made for her.
Yeah, and it looks really creepy. It's horrifying.
She's so I love their friendship because it's like my mom's going crazy, but
God, it looks like it's gonna murder me in my sleep.
you know, like her fear is real, right? It's like she has nothing to do with Earth. She's born on the ship.
Yeah. She's a space boomer.
Yeah. And everyone's is acting weird.
But you're not in the wormhole yet.
And by the way, like we all know Tom Paris is not capable of handling any medical
What do you
problem.
mean? The doctor last episode called him a competent medic.
Yeah. There's a difference between like wrapping a bandage and doing surgery, though.
Not when you just have to wave a little LED over it.
I love that Chakotay has like 2 goons with him.
Yep, seems legit. It's all on the up and up. Or resistance is futile, 7. Oh my god, he said it! I didn't know he was gonna... Okay. Okay.
It's hard to explain the cult psychology to people, but like the people who fell for even like Charles Manson, like I don't think you can really blame them, because like the sociopath who like led the cult, right? He's able to just tap into like whatever, he's able to read people and manipulate them in a very fine way. So it's not like they were like especially weak or something, but like the same way everybody in Voyager except for Naomi Wildman and 7 believes what they want to believe if you tell them the thing that they want to hear most. It's like we all have insecurities that might make us vulnerable to the right kind of manipulator at any point in our lives.
I think we should make Chakotay vulnerable to a gun. Oh, multiple Naomi Wildmans in one episode. Wow.
And so in the episode where in another episode, Chakotay brings up that Ensign Harry Kim came up with the astrometrics, and the extra spatial sensors were also Harry Kim's idea. It's kind of cool.
Oh, I didn't mention it earlier because I thought it was just a piece of prosthetic I forgot. But I noticed when she was hiding behind the crates, she only had 3 horns, and her 4th one was just like a little circle. And now her 4th horn is back. So I guess it just fell off in a previous scene. And then they glued it back on. God, that's a big gun. It looks so impractical. Are we gonna shoot the warp core? I vote we shoot the warp core.
By the way, like Balana already like is not fond of 7. You know, like not because of anything personal, just because like, but
It might be a little personal.
not. I don't think they have any personal beef with the characters with each other. I just feel, you know, like 7's always like tinkering with the engines or something. So Balana feels like you're always in my turf, and you know, you get the captain ideas that maybe you shouldn't. So for 7 to just zap her right now makes it personal.
I was really hoping when Tuvok walked in that he would just instantly shoot her. I mean, there would still be the force fields. I just really want people to start shooting people on sight instead of slowly walking up to them while they execute their plans. That'd be great.
Hey, my Dex. You sound a little far away.
Yeah, I don't know.
You sound good now.
Yeah, you're all right. Yep. Yeah, it's just while Tuvok was slowly walking up to her, he gave her like an extra 10 seconds to start erecting force fields and stuff. Alternatively, he walks in and shoots her and solves the problem.
But my thing is, when Janeway sent that EM pulse through the console, since when do we have that power to like zap anybody at the console?
Actually, that's a power that 7 introduced, if you remember. She shocked that Herosian through his console.
So
Janeway
I'm just
turned
like,
her powers against her.
we can definitely have used this before.
God, this is Neelix's greatest dream, to be greeted by a Starfleet admiral.
As an ambassador.
Who wouldn't want that?
Ambassador's a cushy job.
Sure, but it's also Neelix. We don't want Neelix as ambassador.
He's earned it.
I really like.
Oh.
I really like Helix. I think he's on the two.
I think he's grown on me actually, and I think like every time people hate on him, I think like he actually makes some even his incompetence makes some episodes like happen in a funny way.
Well,
It's
it's good to see
actually
they're
one
all...
of my favorite characters, Neelix.
I mean, he's basically a Jar Jar, so I can understand like he's
Yeah.
definitely not likable. Like, I mean, there's
That's
something
true.
about
That's
him
true.
that's not likable. But like on the other hand, though, I saw this. That there's wifey.
Who Tom wanted him to cheat on last episode.
Yep, and they don't kiss, but they definitely do this.
Yeah, that's weird. My thing with Neelix is just... I can't get over the fact that he was abusive to Cass for the first 2 seasons. He was an absolutely terrible boyfriend to her.
Yeah.
You have to overlook that. But okay, I remember watching this YouTube video about how Jar Jar is actually a great character
And a Sith Lord?
because see, when we're all new to the world of the prequels, Naboo and that early Tatooine pod racer scene, and so having Jar Jar puts us in the same place as the new viewer, and so therefore each scene makes sense and it's that much easier to follow the plot. So it's kind of like it's interesting to see how like it facilitated the audience's understanding of the movies to have a similar newbie. So Neelix is our guide to the Delta Quadrant. Like,
I like how Naomi went to go find Seven, not her mother.
yeah.
Because Seven's better.
Well, she said her mother was acting all weird, which naturally.
Yeah, see that bottom horn on Naomi's head, the 4th one down? That was missing in one scene.
Was it?
I didn't catch it, but Ryan did.
Oh.
So, what's your favorite series in Star Trek, Midex?
Ooh.
It's not a hard question, actually.
Yes, it
It's
is.
really hard.
Okay.
You can't
Actually,
ask someone to choose their favorite child.
I will say, since watching Voyager with the group here, I'm just kind of like amazed by the show, especially since it brings up so many sci-fi, like actually current real world premises about AI. Like I was just telling my mom about like GPT-3 and how like it's gonna mess up college professors because now like anyone could like hand in an essay that's like plausible, like better than the average college student can write, and you just do it by like keyword index.
No, yes.
But I said, like, what if that machine one day becomes alive? And Voyager approaches all these issues about like, well, what if holograms, gain sentience?
What if they do? Just tell them a paradox. It's fine. Easily solvable.
Should solve everything.
Or like, my aunt had a hip knee replacement, so like we're already bionic, in some sense. Like we're already becoming part man, part machine.
Yes.
It's fine by me. I am perfectly happy to get rid of all these stupid flesh parts that break down and replace them with like aluminum or steel. Probably not aluminum. Titanium would be better. Like get rid of all the valves and the tubes. I don't need those. Give me some pipes.
So back to the question. I watched the original series back when I was a child with my dad. Back then in German, because I'm from Germany, and
Yeah.
I never really watched the TNG, Voyager, and Deep Space Nine. Never watched it. But when I started working, while working, I watched them on the side, and they really grew on me. Start with TNG and continued with
6-9.
Voyager.
Mhm.
And I really like Voyager because it really catched me. I love the characters and the whole being on the other side of the universe idea. It's a good series.
Was the voice acting for German William Shatner as expressive as Canadian William Shatner?
Probably it's good.
Okay.
Some problems come up with the voice actors changing in episodes.
Ah.
That's pretty weird, but it's otherwise pretty good and pretty fitting.
So Voyager, you kind of settle on?
Yes, Deep Space Nine. I watched the first episode, the first season, and didn't really continue watching because I didn't really like the dark tone of it. But recently, I watched the whole series again, and and I like that one.
Yeah, for sure. It's very quality.
It's really yes. Although I struggled a bit on the first series, I don't know why.
This episode, it's almost like the Bible story of Jonah and the whale, because and the animation of the creature is almost like the V'ger, because actually people even made fun of Star Trek the motion picture, because the Enterprise going inside that giant thing, it was almost, people described it in almost like sexual terms, so, but the thing is, though, it just goes on and on and on. So but so Jonah and the whale, and this guy's talking to the whale, though, because he doesn't think Seven and Naomi are real. So he's like, yeah, an anonymous starship comes to rescue me. Yeah, right. Like, you think I'm stupid? Like, I know you're trying to fool me. But like, the thing is, though, does that thing even listen? Like, it's more of like, imagine like a sperm whale or a blue whale. It's just filtering the plankton, like, through its
It
belly.
feels like it has intent because it specifically had the crew try to take out Seven.
Yeah, true.
That feels
True.
intentionally
True.
malicious.
Yeah, put her in stasis, by the way, like permanent stasis. And turn off the doctor, kidnap the child.
How does something like this evolve? Where did it get its first starships to eat? Did it start eating a little shuttlecraft and work its way up?
Good question.
We had got in the like 1999, we had gotten like for free a television set from the 60s. It had like a dial that you had to click 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 to change the channels, and the volume was on there too. So it was like a very, very old television set, 9-inch screen. And I remember, like, through the airwaves. I lived in New York, but the very end of New York by the Atlantic Ocean, and the antenna would get the signal from Connecticut. So I would watch Star Trek the original series on like that old TV, like the 60s TV, and it's a very memorable part of my childhood too.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Well, I'm probably much younger.
Yeah.
Never really had 60s or 70s technology. Just watched it on regular TV.
Hi,
I mean,
everybody.
hey, welcome everyone.
Hi.
I just stopped in to say hi. Moon and Star says hi.
Hey, Moon.
Otherwise, I'm going to play Halo.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
Halo's good.
But
Have
which
fun.
Halo?
Hey, if you hear
We're
anything
playing.
that's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Okay.
You're probably in a whale.
Yeah.
I just have like
Mhm.
this whale is offering people like, oh, you can work from home, $3,000 a week, super easy.
Would catch everyone.
Yeah. We'd be like, yeah, of course. Just give your credit card over.
The telepathic pitcher plant is ordering things off Amazon with my money.
But this is also like a really authoritarian episode because like what if everybody goes like politically insane and like starts gaslighting Seven and like Naomi Wildman and like yeah, we're going through the wormhole, we're going back to Earth.
Especially with the isolation of being in the Delta Quadrant all alone. They have no one around, no family.
Yeah.
Just the thought of that. Ugh.
Yeah, it's like Napoleon said every man is 3 meals away from a revolution. So it's like it's kind of intense because we're so used to like 7 seasons of this that like okay, we know they're not getting home for like the foreseeable future. But like for them as characters, like the idea of being home is so powerful.
Yes.
Like who wants to be here, right? Because like it's one thing after another of like things trying to attack them and kill them. Like even Tuvok, like it's kind of amazing. Like despite the weird finger scene, where like they caress each other's fingers with like an inch of gap between. Um besides that
Beautiful.
though, but the thing is though, like you have an emotional reunion with your wife. Like even he
Yes.
can't suppress that kind of overwhelming bond.
So when they started saying, oh, let's work on a way to start waking up the crew, this is pretty much exactly what I thought would happen. Like they would just be totally useless.
Yeah, no, I mean,
They're out of it. They're done.
it's also like, how do we know what's real? Because you have the Plato's cave in here also. And at one point, even,
Well, let's see. Is what you're seeing physically possible? That seems like a good starting point.
yeah.
Are your dead friends risen?
So, do you guys have a favorite episode?
No, that's actually
A
like
favorite
that's like
episode
a
of any
child.
show?
That's
Yeah. That's
No,
a broad
okay, but
question.
I will say though, actually, so what got me hooked to TNG was the nth degree when Barclay has the hyper genius kind of thing. Like he
Oh,
becomes beyond Einstein. To me, that's like the epitome of science fiction and Star Trek as a genre.
The Wounded is really good with fake Gul Dukat with his mutton chops.
Thanks, Ryan.
That's one of my favorites for sure.
It's true. It's true though. He does look great with like, and he even comes into the
No, it
observation
does.
lounge.
I don't know if I
No,
agree with that.
no, they're legit chops though. They're like big enough to be a real lamb chop.
Well, at least Mr. Dragonslayer's having a good time. It's his whole life now. It's all he knows. Wow, what convenient timing.
But oh, I'm sorry. The other thing that comes to mind, the word gaslighting, like it's a new term, like maybe like the younger generation. But this is literally what happens. Everyone's telling you that don't believe your lying eyes and ears.
Yes, kill the whale. No, come on, Doctor. Don't be such a buzzkill. Be a whale kill.
You soured the milk.
God, that episode is not one of my favorites. No.
You know, I like.
Well, I
that.
mean, the one with Scotty saying that is
Yeah.
pretty decent.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
the one where they sour the milk, not so much.
Galaxy's Child or something. But yeah.
I'd go so far as to say it's bad.
No, you know, I like that it's a space ravioli though. I think you coined the term.
I don't
Ryan.
have anything against the ravioli. I have something against Jordy being super creepy in the holodeck.
Okay. No, but that's the main point of the episode is the ravioli. You're not supposed to take the creepiness of the character. The ravioli is the cool part. They phaser a C-section on a ravioli. Oh, here's a explicit Moby Dick reference.
Yep. And we could really use with an emergency command hologram. That'd be good. As much as I would love an emergency whaler hologram, just regular emergency command, I think would do nicely.
What about you, Midex? What's your favorite episode if you had to pick one off the top?
Yeah,
of
of all the series combined, put together.
Yeah.
Probably the Doctor-centric episodes or Garrick-centric episodes because I love those characters.
You can't choose a genre, you have to pick one.
You picked the whole.
Yeah. I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Let me just.
Okay.
Where is that
Time,
German
okay?
efficiency?
You picked 2 classes of episodes. That's a good one. Okay. I like the ones where they talk about democracy and sentient rights. Those are good.
Anyway.
Look, that whole thing
So,
is so
hang on.
sexual.
Doctor or Garrick?
I think the Doctor's main character and Garrick's just side
He
character.
feels like a main character.
He indeed, but he has not so many episodes. So the chance of there being a good Doctor episode is higher than there being a good Garrick episode.
I'm even guessing Andrew Robinson's name come before Siddiq.
You mean Siddiq al-Tahil al-Fadl Abdul Rahman Muhammad Ahmad Abdul Karim al-Makti?
Whoa.
Alexander Siddiq. Later. Siddiq al-Fadil al-Tahir.
Go on. Siddiq al-Tahil al-Fadl Abdul Rahman Muhammad Ahmad Abdul Karim al-Makti. Come on, it's not that hard.
Al-Fadil Abdul Rahman.
Siddiq al-Tahil al-Fadil Abdul Rahman Muhammad Ahmed al-Abdul Karim al-Makti.
Muhammad Rahman al-Abdul Karim al-Mahdi. Thanks.
He's pretty cool.
But I might be wrong about that. This guy's great. He's telling them, don't believe your sensors.
Whoa.
We're still inside the thing. Like, we would be trapped inside if it wasn't for this guy's like 30 years of experience chasing this whale. Yeah. That's this is a brilliant plot point. Like, she's now seduced. Before she was immune, but now
This is why we should kill the creature.
she's getting pulled in.
That's not
Kill
the
the
Starfleet
whale.
way.
like
Yes,
that's
it
how
is.
how do you remain objective? Like when you have all these conflicting desires.
You don't have to be you don't have to be objective. Your torpedoes have to be objective. Kill them.
Blech.
How about we release another burst just to be safe?
So this character is so well written. The angry pirate guy. He goes right back into the whale. it's his life's mission to go after this thing. He
Freaking
doesn't
Ahab.
care. Yeah, he doesn't care that they just barely got out by the skin of their teeth.
This guy's better than Captain Ahab because Captain Ahab got a lot of people killed.
Yeah.
This guy's just by himself. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, he really can. He's allowed to.
You go murder that space whale.
Have fun.
You know, I was
Why
watching
the doctor?
I was watching season 1 of TNG,
Why?
and when Worf's ops console goes offline, he goes ahead and uses Geordi's helm console, and I'm like, that's what I've always thought. There's no reason to have those two as separate consoles. You could just have one person handle both of those things, and we'll be perfectly fine.
Wow, that
and
was
so
3 Naomi Wildmans in one episode. It's a new record.
She's a great actress, the little girl.
Yes.
Like, even when she was running and skipping, like and hiding, she did pretty good. Like, and when she's like, my mom's gone crazy, please help me, 7.
I wonder if this person's ever done any like conventions. Did Scarlett Palmer's and Jerry Ryan hang out?
But Ryan, I would suggest you watch The Expanse, because the same way what Naomi is not really attached to Earth, people who grow up in the belt, they're not attached to the belt, and people who grow up on Mars, the people who grew up in the belt, they're not attached to Earth, and people who grew up on Mars, they're not attached to Earth. So at some point, we all develop our own sense of independence.
Okay. I have a favorite episode.
Yes,
The Inner
Okay.
Light. It's my favorite episode.
you took a long time.
Yes, it took a long time.
It's a hard decision.
It's a hard decision, yes. But The Inner Light, I really love that episode. It's just
Yes.
It needs more whales.
indeed.
All right, so what's next week? Next week is Dark Frontier, which is a 2-parter, and it's about 7. I don't remember exactly what it's about, other than 7. I assume Borg stuff.
She gets reassimilated and used by the Borg Queen.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay, yeah, that happens a lot. Don't worry about it. And then Disease, which I think is where Harry falls in love with some lady who gives him an STD, and then he like freaks out and starts yelling at the captain. It's like, oh, I always say yes to your orders, but not this time. Now I'm in love with a lady who gave me an STD.
So Garrett
It's a
Wong
whole
gets
thing.
to act. Yeah.
And he gets to try for sure. The next stream is not next week, it's the week after, January 1st. Because 7 days from now is Christmas. December 25th. Unless you're in Australia or something, I guess. But no stream next week, 2 weeks from now.
And then that
24th Germany.
2-parter counts as 2 episodes on the
Yep.
first.
Yep.
Okay.
I think
Thank you,
the
Remy.
episode is actually formatted as 1. I think it's cut together as 1, but it's still an hour and a half. It still counts. But yeah, also on the Discord, in the events section of the Discord, you can see the schedule for the next few episodes and what we're going to be watching, what's coming up and when it's coming up and all that jazz. In fact, I can just show it on the stream, maybe. Let's see if I'm set up correctly. Yes, Discord, kind of. It's kind of being blocked by names. There, events. This is my time zone, though. It'll adjust to your time zone. But that's it. We're done here. The week shall perish.
All right. See you later. Bye.